What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are back. We're just going to be chatting some boxing, so if you're not really a boxing fan, feel free to just listen up or, just formulate your own opinion in the future. And we are talking about the AJ Fury fight. It's just been announced as a 2-fight deal, which obviously in the boxing world makes sense. I saw a lot of the MMA community being like, that's so stupid, that's so stupid. Usman and Masvidal 2 just got announced, so I don't think MMA really have MMA fans really have much to stand on in that regard. But this is a 2-fight deal, so in other words, they both have a title. Tyson Fury obviously has the WBC and the Ring TV magazine title, I believe, and then obviously Joshua has the IBF, WBO, the WBA. There's one more, but I can't remember it. No, I can't remember. Anyways, so they're both going in with titles. Obviously, one of them only one walk away with every title and be the unified champion. And then one thing that does as well is that then gives that person to get their first title defense in right away. I believe the loser of the fight has between 30 and 90 days to accept the fight, which is why the Fury Wilder fight, their third fight, is not going ahead because Wilder did not accept it. He was just very bitter, as we know about that, which I think is fantastic because we've seen from the AJ Ruiz fight, anything can go wrong in heavyweight boxing. We saw that in the White Povetkin fight. Anything can go wrong any given moment. Do I think that Fury's going to land a lucky punch on Joshua and knock him out? No. If Fury wins, it will be from pure skill. I'll get into my opinion in a moment. Do I think Joshua will land a lucky punch and knock Fury out? Put him on his ass? Yes. Knock him out completely? Absolutely not. I think whoever wins this, it will be based on skill. I don't think there will be a lucky punch to win the fight. I think there could be a lucky punch to knock down, but I do not think that we will be able to walk away from that and going, that was a fluke, that was luck. I think whoever wins this, we will have to accept, whether you're a Fury fan or an AJ fan, whoever wins this first fight, you have to walk away from this fight and go, damn, he was the better fighter today, but let's run it back in 90 to 120 days or however long it is, depends on how the fight obviously goes. If it's a close decision, they tend to run it back a bit sooner. If it's a knockout, they tend to wait a little while longer due to concussions and injuries to the brain. So just right off the start, I'm super excited for this fight. I think it's fantastic. I am so glad that we're finally to the point where we have just done it. I'm so sick of the boxing politics of this person needs to defend this title, and this person needs to do this, and this mandatory this. I'm so sick of it. I'm glad we're getting to the point now. Same with the Canelo Billy Joe Saunders fight. We are finally getting to the stage that we were at 30 years ago, where we had the best fighting the best, and a lot of time recently it seems to be the best are fighting people out of their prime, or the best are having warm-up fights. That should not be happening. Obviously recently we just lost Marvin Hagler, which is an absolute travesty. Obviously, he was one of the great, if not arguably the best middleweight champion. Obviously there was lots of great middleweights back then. Marvin Hagler was definitely one of the top. Some great fights with Thomas Hearns, Sugar Ray Robinson. I apologize for that abrupt cut, guys. My mic fell. Real legendary bouts, real legendary fights, and real legendary fighters. And back in those days with Marvin Hagler, they were fighting the best. The best would fight the best. Whether you lost, won, or draw, you would rematch. You would fight the best, and it was like that on repeat. And that's the way boxing needs to stay. And right now, that is where we're at with Billy Joe and Canelo, and obviously with the AJ Fury fight, which is fantastic. Obviously, I'm sure you guys want to hear about my opinion. I've already had a few questions about it. And my overall opinion of it is, one, it's going to be a great fight. There's going to be no... I saw a few people saying that, okay, so if Fury completely dominates AJ, that won't happen. I could see the first few rounds being maybe a bit of a feeling out process. Fury starting to show his dominance a little bit, starting to show his aura, his size, not physical stature size, his mental size, how he's there, how he just doesn't care. And, how he has literally said out loud that he will be able to predict everything AJ does. That could mess with AJ a little bit. AJ might try to change his game plan and ruin himself, or he might change his game plan and win. But my overall prediction, just from... We'll talk about how the fight could play out in multiple ways in a moment. My overall prediction, just right off the start, is that Fury slaps the head off him. I see the first few rounds being relatively competitive, back and forth kind of. Fury probably takes... Let's say if we have the first 5 rounds, I could see Fury taking 3 or 4 of those first 5 rounds. Then I think his overwhelming boxing skill, he's a much cleaner boxer. AJ, don't get me wrong, is a fantastic boxer. He's very much textbook. Hands up by his side. Bob, foot, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Very, very textbook. Whereas Fury is very much around the place, snapping off his jab, throwing whatever feels right at the time. I think Joshua may come into this fight a little bit stiff. I think Fury will come in very loose because he just doesn't care. As Fury once said, the reason he knows he's not going to lose is because he never loses, which is just in itself is fantastic. And Fury believes that Joshua goes into this fight with nothing to lose because he's already been knocked out. Fury goes into this fight with everything to lose. That's the way Fury's mind is working. I think that's a great way to be. And I think that the fight is relatively competitive, not boring, not like a real slugger, because that's not going to happen with these two. I think it's a real competitive matchup. Fury probably takes most of the round. Then I see come the 6th or the 7th, he starts to really work. AJ tires him out, drops him once, drops him twice, and probably puts him away within 3 drops. Probably drops him probably in like the 5th, and then I would imagine probably drops him twice in the 7th. That's my prediction anyways, for the first fight. And then the rematch I think plays out relatively the same, but let's see what the first fight looks like, and then I'll make a video on the rematch. Obviously though, there is a chance, you know, Fury has been caught by Wilder. Fury does believe that Wilder is better than AJ though. I personally don't think so. I think if AJ and Wilder fought, as long as AJ moved his head, I think he would win that fight. I think if Wilder were to beat Fury or AJ, I think it would be AJ he would beat personally. I think Fury is too good. As we saw from the first fight, even when he did get hit hard, he didn't stay down. I think AJ wouldn't get back up from that personally. Whereas obviously, you know, AJ does have a much better boxing skill than Wilder. You know, if they were to get into a technical boxing bout, while Fury probably has the reach advantage, I could see AJ definitely slipping some shots, landing the hook uppercut that he likes to land, landing the straight hook that he likes to land, the straight uppercut that he likes to land, you know, or ducking his head and throwing that big heavy uppercut that we've seen him use before against Klitschko, Dillian White, things like that. I think it's definitely a possibility, but do I think that he will win this fight? Absolutely not. I think Fury is going to be way too good for him. And I think it's going to be a great matchup. I think Joshua is, a champion for just taking the fight in general, just for unifying the division, finally stopping with the boxing politics, and saying, you know what, fuck it, let's get it on. Same with Fury. Fury will fight anyone, anywhere, as we know. And I think it's going to be a great fight all in all. I think, obviously, there is a possibility that Fury could be knocked out. AJ definitely has the power, definitely has the combinations that Wilder doesn't have. That's one thing with AJ, is he has the combinations. He will land a good shot, and he will land that shot consistently, like he did against Pulev. He landed a lot of good shots against Pulev. He realized the uppercut was working, so he threw the uppercut more often. Then he caught him at the end with the jab straight and put him away. I think if anyone's going to land better combinations on Fury, I could see it being AJ. But I definitely see AJ being finished around the same time he was in the Ruiz fight, but not with just a big lucky overhand. I see Fury being too calculated, too good, working the body, working the head, and just eventually putting him away. I could be wrong, and it could not be the 7th. If I had to really bet on it, if I was betting my life, I would bet it ends around the 9th. But I'm just optimistic that the first drop comes in the 5th, and maybe the next 2 drops, or just the last drop perhaps, comes in the 7th. If not the 7th, the start of the 8th, where AJ is not quite himself and Fury just batters him. Do I think it's going to be an absolute landslide victory? Absolutely not. I think Fury is a man at the end of the day. Fury can be beaten. Fury can be hurt. He can be dropped. We've seen that many times. But so can AJ. I think overall, for the boxing standpoint, it's going to be a fantastic fight. It's something we all need to watch. It's something I will be staying up for. It's something every single person needs to watch, needs to witness. I am buzzing for it personally. I think just great to finally see the heavyweight division be unified again. Hopefully nothing goes wrong, no COVID gets in the way, no injuries get in the way. I hope both men have a great camp and that they both come into this fight perfectly healthy, and whoever loses, I hope they take it on the chin. They don't throw any excuses out there, because that would really kind of tarnish the fight. I think whoever loses needs to just say, fair play, you were the better man, but the rematch is on. And then they throw it back down in the second fight, which I'll make a follow-up video on. But I'm really excited to hear your guys' thoughts on this fight, who you think is going to win. And there's a lot of AJ fans, there's a lot of Fury fans, there's a lot of casuals out there, obviously, for this fight. I did tweet about it, saying that there's going to be so many casuals out for this fight. It's crazy, because AJ pulls a lot of casuals, Fury pulls a lot of casuals together. Holy hell, it's going to be absolutely insane, where casuals give their opinion on things they know nothing about. But at the end of the day, I'm not one of those people that doesn't think that casual fans shouldn't be allowed to watch boxing. I think that's how, casuals, everyone starts as a casual at the end of the day, and they turn into a hardcore fan. I just wish that if people only watched Fury, AJ, perhaps Canelo, and then, you know, maybe Pacquiao perhaps, I think if they only watch those fighters, it sounds horrible, I don't want to hear their opinion online, because they haven't formulated enough of an opinion from watching enough boxing to realise what can happen in the heavyweight world, let alone in the boxing world. You know, how a punch can change things in any weight class, and especially in the heavyweight division. So I think, you know, I'd love to hear you guys' opinions, whether you watch one event a year or whether you watch 4 million events a year. I really want to hear your opinion. But yeah, that's one thing I want to really do, make sure we do with the community and with the boxing world in general, is let's keep this a funly competitive fight in the community. Let's not be toxic. I've seen people already just being fucking absolute arrogant assholes about it. Let's not do that. Let's have some fun with this fight and really enjoy it together. And you know, like for example, if you were in my stream, Will, or Coach WT as the stream knows him, we were talking about Canelo Billy Joe. It was getting quite, you know, back and forth, and at the end of the back and forth, we both just said best of luck. I look forward to watching the fight, and you know, that was it. And then he was back in the next stream. No disrespect, you know, I wasn't disrespecting him, he wasn't disrespecting me. We had a good kind of back and forth about it. No disrespect, no swear words thrown towards one another. Obviously, we're both like, nah, Canelo's gonna fuck Billy Joe up. Nah, Billy Joe's gonna fuck Canelo up. But towards one another, there was no ill will, which is what we want in the boxing community. There is quite a few people out there that, in my opinion, are relatively toxic. So I've been trying to stay clear of them at the moment. And but yeah, it's going to be a really exciting matchup. I'm fucking buzzing my tits off for it. I hope you guys are too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.